Good afternoon. I am Chancellor Robert Jones, and on behalf of the entire University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign community, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our university and welcome back to the State Farm Center. Even if it isn't for a basketball game yet, it feels pretty exciting to have members of the public standing here in the tradition clubs for the first time in probably 15 to 18 months, far, far too long. And of course, it is always a great pleasure and an honor to see Governor Pritzker visit our campus and our community, and it has been far too long since we've had that opportunity as well. I also want to welcome Speaker Welch, Senator Bennett, and Representative Ammons, and of course, welcome and thank you to the key sponsors of SB 2338, Senator Harris, who I understand couldn't be with us today, but we're also very glad to have Representative Buckner with us. I think you all would agree, and everyone knows, that name, image, and likeness rights and protections for collegiate student athletes has been a very, very challenging issue for a long time. And it is an issue that has been made even more challenging due to the lack of a cohesive, consistent, and carefully designed national solution being created. And with the lack of direction, and what we began to see emerge was a patchwork of state-by-state approaches that resulted in a range of legislation that makes the landscape confusing to our student athletes, and one that could quite possibly put their careers and perhaps equally, and not more importantly, their education at risk. Our Director of Athletics, Josh Whitman, has been a very vocal on this subject, and he has been a fierce advocate for legislation that provides the necessary protection for student athletes, while also protecting the integrity of college athletics, and that allows these young men and women to be successful and to successfully pursue their academic careers as they compete on the field, on the floor, and on the track. So you can imagine we are very, very proud to be hosting this celebration today, where Governor Pritzker will sign into law a bill that clearly and loudly prioritize both the empowerment and the protection of our student athletes in Illinois when it comes to their names, their likeness, their image, and voices. So once again, our governor and our legislature and our state have provided the thoughtful and the necessary leadership when it's certainly needed the most. So, Governor, thank you again for all of your support for SB 2338, and to the sponsors and to all the members of the Illinois General Assembly for putting the rights, the interests, and the well-being of student athletes first here in the great state of Illinois. So now it's my great pleasure to bring to the podium someone that needs no introduction. Governor Pritzker, I ask you to come to the podium, and again, welcome back to the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much to Chancellor Jones and to everybody that's joined us here today. What a beautiful day, and what a great day. What a great location for us to do this in. I want to say a special thank you to our Senator Scott Bennett, to Representative Carol Ammons for hosting us today in their districts. This is a statewide celebration, though. In addition to U of I Athletic Director Josh Whitman, we're joined by Northwestern University AD, soon to become the Combe family Vice President of Athletics and Recreation, Derek Craig, DePaul University AD Dwayne Peavy, and DePaul Senior Associate AD Taylor Stapleton. Most importantly, we are joined by two bright and talented young members of the Fighting Illini Athletics family who are here to share their stories. Eva Rubin, a senior center on the women's basketball team here, and Vidarian Lowe, a senior offensive tackle on the football team. Eva and Vidarian, I'm so glad that we're soon going to be able to see greater returns for you on your hard work as student athletes. I thank you for joining us today. I also want to commend the sponsor of today's legislation, the two sponsors, the Senate sponsor, our leader, Napoleon Harris, who couldn't join us today, and Representative Cam Buckner to my right here, who's a great leader in Springfield. Both of them make this moment possible for student athletes. As former outstanding student athletes themselves, these two men haven't forgotten the countless hours spent on the field, in the gym, and at practice, and they brought legislation over the finish line in Springfield that honors that dedication. And of course, I want to thank our great Speaker of the House, Chris Welch, another collegiate student athlete, who not only supported this legislation in the House himself, but stood with me to champion a bill on this issue back in 2019. Speaker, thank you for your fearless advocacy on behalf of student athletes across the state of Illinois. When I sign this bill into law, Illinois will lead the United States in giving student athletes the opportunity to sign endorsement deals of their own, joining a growing coalition of states leading the fight for innovation in our modern collegiate sports system. Let me be clear, Illinois is now at the forefront of this movement, yet another reason for student athletes to choose Illinois for college. Beginning July 1st, Illinois collegiate student athletes, no matter the sport and no matter the division, can take control of their destiny when it comes to their own name, image, likeness, and voice. More and more people, including the Supreme Court, are recognizing the hundreds of hours that student athletes pour into games, to practice, to weightlifting, to nutrition, and they've never been properly recognized. Just yesterday, finally, the NCAA announced its intention to move closer to where this legislation will take Illinois, a welcome move for hundreds of thousands of student athletes nationwide. With this law, Illinois is at the forefront of taking some pressure off of talented kids who are torn between finishing their degree or cashing in on the big leagues. But to be clear, the benefits of this law don't stop with kids bound for the NFL or the NBA. Any student athlete can partner with businesses in their college towns, as well as brands, big and small, to see a financial benefit from the hours they pour into their craft. Already, schools here, including the University of Illinois and DePaul, are launching programs to support students in this process. Yet another reason for student athletes nationwide to choose Illinois. This isn't just a win for student athletes, it's a win for the future of our entire state. So with that, I am very proud to turn the podium over to a real champion for student athletes and for all young people throughout the state, this bill's House sponsor, Representative Cam Buckner. Cam?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for bringing us here today. I think this is huge. This is a big step in the right direction for Illinois. I want to echo the previously stated sentiments and thank all who have joined us today. We have a great rostrum of dignitaries here. I also want to say thank you to Senator Bennett and my sister, Representative Ammons, for hosting us here in your districts. I think that anyone, like I see my former teammate Kevin Mitchell over there, anyone who knew me when I was on this campus and ever saw me play a pickup basketball game knows I have no business in this building, but here I am. I also know that it's not lost on me that Governor Pritzker, Speaker Welch, and Senator Harris are all Northwestern alums, and I'm a little bit outnumbered, but it feels good to be home. Today, SB 2338 becomes law, and this bill is about equity, it's about parity, It's about autonomy. It's about the fair market. It's about the legal tenet that we call the right to publicity. But moreover, this bill is essentially about fairness. Fairness, fairness, fairness. I really feel fortunate to be able to have led this fight just 14 years after I took off my Illini helmet for the last time. And when I look at student athletes like Vidarian and Eva and Trent and Dylan over here, who you will hear from shortly, I couldn't be prouder of the opportunities that this law will allow and provide for them. The Illinois Student Athlete Endorsements Rights Act modernizes the college athletics landscape. This bill is long overdue. And what we are signaling here is that we cannot continue to economically suppress these young people while they infuse tremendous amounts of money into our economies. I want to be clear, this is not just a win for the star quarterback or the star point guard. This gives the women's tennis player an opportunity to be compensated for teaching lessons back in her hometown during summer breaks. This creates an apparatus for the women's softball player to lend her image to the local pizzeria for fair market value. We've seen states around the country begin to address this issue, and rightfully so. But I'll be clear that this is the most comprehensive and forward-leaning legislation in the entire country that addresses this issue. And for that, I want to once again thank my Illini football brother, Josh Whitman, for his commitment to addressing this. In this legislation, we have safeguards and parameters in place that don't only allow student athletes opportunities, but it also allows us to protect them from actions and industries that may be unscrupulous and harmful to them. In the absence of a national solution, Illinois has once again led. And I can't thank Speaker Welch and Governor Pritzker enough for their steadfast commitment to helping us get this done. This is the dawn of a new day, and today we have created the change that our student athletes deserve. This is about making sure that we have, once again, an equal playing field and that the scales are balanced and that we are showing our young people that we believe in them and that we want to give them the resources to put themselves and their families in essential and effective positions. So with no further ado, I'd like to now introduce my good friend and my co-champion in this fight for the last few years, Speaker of the House, Emmanuel Chris Welch.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Leader Buckner. Truly an honor and a privilege to be here on your college campus in Champaign today, celebrating this momentous achievement. It's an honor to be here with my friends, Senator Bennett and Representative Ammons. You know, she keeps inviting me back and I keep coming. So I'm looking forward to the next visit as well. Just a great day to be here at the University of Illinois. I'm thrilled to be here today for Governor Pritzker to sign this bill into law. This is one of those bills that when people ask you, what's something that you're really proud of being in the legislature? And this is one of those bills that you point back to because, as Leader Buckner just said, this is about equity and fairness. This is about doing the right thing for these great athletes that you see here before us today. This is the name, image, and likeness bill. This is about their name, their image, and their likeness. If a university or a college can benefit off their name, image, and likeness, why can't they benefit off their own name, image, and likeness? We're correcting that today. We're doing the equitable and fair thing today when the governor puts his signature on this bill. This has been something that we have fought for now for over 2 years. The governor and I stood together in 2019 along with Leader Buckner and Senator Harris and Senator Sims and many other members of the caucus, and we're really proud that this day is finally before us. And so I want to thank Leader Buckner for spearheading this effort in the House this year, and Senator Harris, fellow Wildcat, for getting it done in the Senate. They consulted with the athletic directors that are here today in the colleges and universities across this state, and we finally got it done. Finally got it done. As a former college athlete like myself, Rep. Buckner and Senator Harris, they have a unique perspective and they understand how this can benefit and protect so many of our young student athletes. It allows college athletes to profit from their name, their image, and their likeness, and that is a positive step for our collegiate sports. Not only is it necessary, but we've been discussing this for quite a while, and it's long past due to see our athletes receive the recognition and compensation that they deserve. This should have been done on the national level. Should have been done a long time ago. But finally, it's happening. And I'm proud that Illinois is joining the number of states across the country signing similar legislation into law. This will greatly benefit our student athletes across the state, both public and private universities. And that's why you see University of Illinois, we're here today with Northwestern and DePaul, all over this state and all over this country. You're going to see great things happening because of this. These athletes devote so many hours per week to their sport in addition to their schoolwork. Why can't they go support the local pizzeria, the local car dealership, the apparel store that I saw on the way in here? Allowing them to earn money for their own talents and reputation like everyone else. That's the fair thing to do. That's the right thing to do. And guess what? Our colleges and universities can use that as a recruiting tool. Come here. We have a great college town. You can support our small businesses around this community. Come and play for a great program, and all while supporting our great college town. What a wonderful recruiting tool we're going to have when the governor puts his signature on this bill. There are so many benefits to this bill becoming law, and consumers and fans have long been waiting to support this. I'm eager to see where we go next, but right now I want to thank a few people for making this happen. Definitely Governor Pritzker. I want to thank a couple people who are not here today who have been fighting for this issue for a long time. They have been champions going all across the country, and that's a friend of mine, Sonny Vaccaro, who lives in California and couldn't be here with us today, and Southern Illinoisan from Edwardsville, Illinois, Dustin McGuire. They have been champions of this issue for a long time, and I know they're very happy to see what's happening here in Illinois. Also proud that the athletic director from the University of Illinois has been a big champion of this, and I promise I'll stop tweeting at him now. Please welcome to the podium, Josh Whitman.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and on behalf of our university, we want to welcome you here to the wonderful home of the Fighting Illini men's and women's basketball program. Starting this year, will also be the home to the Illinois wrestling team, and here at the iconic State Farm Center on the campus of our University of Illinois, we're very proud to be able to host this very important and special day, not only in the history of college athletics here in our state, but in the history of college athletics across all of the states. And this is one of those days that allows us to begin to usher in the new era of college athletics. Truly, NIL legislation represents the most dramatic, meaningful change to come to the collegiate model since the adoption of athletic scholarships back in the early 1950s. This day has been in the works for many years, as you've heard from some of our other speakers today, and we have an opportunity here to celebrate the forward thinking, the progressiveness of the state, and I'm so thankful to everybody who had a role in making today possible. I'm excited for our student athletes. I'm excited for our state's athletic programs. There are so many benefits that will accrue to both entities, and we have seen the way that we've crafted the law to make sure that they have the freedoms that they need to go out and capitalize on the celebrity that they've been able to build as members of our athletic program, while still having the safeguards that allow them to receive protections that are needed in an open marketplace and still allow us to uphold the values of college athletics. I'm so grateful that we are in a state here in the state of Illinois that continues to be at the forefront, continues to establish itself as a leader in the modernization of college athletics, the evolution of college sports. And I can't thank enough Governor Pritzker, Speaker Welch, Leader Harris, who wasn't able to be with us today, but also Representative Buckner for their championing student-athletes' rights in this ongoing evolution of college sports. It's very special when you think about it to have 3 former student-athletes who played at a high level in the state of Illinois working on behalf of student-athletes in our state, in Speaker Welch, Leader Harris, Representative Buckner. That's an incredible, we talk all the time about the values, the virtues of being a college student-athlete, about how the skills that you develop through the crucible of competition will allow you to go off and be successful in any manner of enterprises once your days as an athlete are over. And we have great examples of that in our state government, and we're so grateful to them for their partnership. We look forward to working with them on this issue and other issues in the years ahead to continue moving college athletics into this new era. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our state's athletic directors. We have really developed a close-knit community amongst our Division I ADs across our state. I'm thrilled to be joined by my colleagues today from Northwestern and DePaul. We have done a lot of work together throughout the pandemic on a number of different issues, and certainly name, image, likeness has been among them, and it makes me very proud to call them colleagues and friends, and I know that they have the same values in place, prioritizing the well-being of our student-athletes as we do here at the University of Illinois. Lastly, I want to recognize our student-athletes. We're very grateful to have a number of them with us today. This is a tremendous opportunity for them, and we stand ready as an athletic program to provide them education, resources, assistance as we head in together to this new frontier that represents such a significant change in the collegiate model. Very proud today to be joined by 2 of our student-athletes in particular who will take turns here at the podium. You've already heard them introduced by our governor, but could not be prouder to have these representatives. Our senior football player, Verdarian Lowe, will join us here in just a moment, but also in first up to the microphone will be a senior member of our women's basketball team, Eva Rubin. So thank you again, and Eva, come on up. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say a quick thank you to our incredibly dedicated and hardworking athletic director, Josh Whitman. I want to say thank you to our governor for making the trip over here to the University of Illinois, and as well as all the other leaders behind me and in front of me for coming here to kind of make this happen for us finally. I'm going to keep it short, but one thing I want to really stress to everyone is that us as student athletes, we spend so many hours on our sport and so many hours in the classroom, but there is a lot more to us than the sport that you get to watch us play on television or the classes that we're in all day. We all have a different niche. We all have a community that's important to us, a hobby that's important to us, a passion that we would love to be able to spend more time on it and capitalize off, like has been mentioned up here previously. A little bit about myself, some of you may know, I'm actually a type 1 diabetic. And with my small platform that I've been able to kind of build for myself here at the University of Illinois, I've had many opportunities to work with diabetes research foundations, the American Diabetes Association, just organizations and causes like that that are important to me. So now with the NIL being passed, I can only imagine the opportunities that I'll be able to, create for myself and build for myself, and ways that will help me give back to my community. So again, I just want to say a very emphatic thank you to all the leaders here, especially our incredible AD, Josh Whitman, Chancellor Jones, Governor Pritzker. And with that being said, I'll introduce Verdarian Lowe on our Illinois football team, and he'll come up here and say a few words. Thank you.
How y'all doing? I'd like to thank everyone, everyone up here who has given me the opportunity to speak. And I'd also like to thank everyone who's involved in making this NIL bill a possibility. This is something that, is very important, to all of us student athletes. This is something that we've all, been dreaming of, and now it is a reality. And, we're very grateful for that. This is a big deal for all of us. And, as being part of the student athlete community, this is all something that we think that, we deserve and that we need. We put countless hours in, no matter what sport that we're in, whether it's football, basketball, track and field, volleyball, swimming, any sport. We all, see each other, and we all know the amount of work that we put in to try and become national champions and whatnot. So this is something that, we're very excited about, and we're glad that it's finally, the moment is finally before us. This bill is a historic change, in the way things have been ran. Just a few years ago, you can't do anything to make a profit off of your name, image, or likeness, and you can't make any money. You can't do anything to try and get back into your community and, make a profit off of that. So this is a historic change, and it will change the way, collegiate sports will be viewed, for years to come. So once again, I want to thank everybody, the governor and the chancellor and the AD, Josh Whitman, for giving me this chance to voice, my views on this, and just thank you for making this all a possibility. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Derek Gregg, Northwestern. I'm actually not on the clock yet, but this is a big deal, so I wanted to be here. As a former student athlete, I understand the importance and the significance of a day like this. This is something that student athletes like Josh and the other student athletes, former student athletes standing or sitting behind me, we weren't privy to these types of things. So whenever we can be a part of something this historic, it's important for us to stand up and stand beside and stand behind our student athletes. So I commend the student athletes who are up here speaking. It's not easy to get in front of a large group of people like this and do what they do, but I appreciate them, and I know we have other student athletes here as well. So again, it's their day. It's not so much about us. And it's just good to be in a building like this. Again, I know this building probably hasn't been open to the public, and I said this in my press conference a few weeks ago. It's just good to be able to see people without the masks, to be able to shake hands and to hug each other, and to hopefully get back to the business of college athletics as we know it. And so I really appreciate everyone for being here. And I'd also like to thank the governor. I'd also like to thank Northwestern President Morty Shapiro. He couldn't be here today, but he was very instrumental in this as well. And we're certainly looking forward to continuing to support our student athletes on and off the courts, in and outside the classrooms. And there's certain things about being a student athlete that are universal. First, go to class, obtain knowledge, and graduate. Second, integrate into mainstream campus society and become something other than a jock, and I know we all do a good job of that. Third is we want to train to become champions. Fourth is we want to be exposed to the leadership on our campuses, and I know all the leaders behind me do a good job of that. And then fifth, we want them to give back. But now we've added something, and we've added something for them, and that is to be able to profit off of their own image and likeness. And again, I can't stress the significance of that, and we're doing a lot to educate them across the country, and we're looking forward to it. And so with that, I want to bring up my colleague, DePaul Athletic Director, Dwayne Peavy. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. On behalf of DePaul University, I would like to thank Governor Pritzker, the supporters and members of the Illinois General Assembly for their leadership of SB 2338. At DePaul University, we're dreaming big, and a part of that dream to become a reality was a change in the NIL bill to allow DePaul student athletes to be able to capitalize off their name, image, likeness in the third largest media market in the country, in Chicago. This landmark piece of state legislation leads the way for the modernization of the collegiate athletics model, while guaranteeing our student athletes are the center of these efforts. Further, it ensures that Illinois colleges and universities remain at the forefront of an increasingly competitive collegiate athletics landscape. At DePaul, not only are we allowing student athletes to take full advantage of their NIL, but we're also providing them critical training and support through the launch of our new comprehensive entrepreneurial and brand development program called Legacy. In partnership with DePaul's Driehaus College of Business, the College of Communication, and the Coleman Entrepreneurship Center, DePaul Athletics is eager to fully embrace this new legislation, and I'm excited and happy about it. Job well done. Again, thank you, Governor Pritzker, and members of the Illinois General Assembly for positioning the state of Illinois to be a national leader in college athletics. And now I would like to welcome back Governor Pritzker to sign the bill. Okay, with that, I'd be happy to take any questions from members of the media, remembering, of course, that Representative Buckner is a sponsor of the bill, and of course we have the Speaker of the House and others, the athletic directors, who had so much to do with this. So,
let's start with on topic. Governor, there were multiple times that this may be a question for Representative Buckner as well, but multiple times this was mentioned. This could be a strong recruiting tool for the university. The university is always refining all of their facilities, improving their already recruiting tools. Could this bill move forward? Is there more to do in this realm, or is that for the federal government to decide?
well, I know there was a great deal of negotiation that went into this, also a lot of study of what's going on across the country to make sure that Illinois is a leader. But I want to turn it over to Representative Buckner, if you don't mind, Representative, because he's really been at the forefront and leader in the nation on this subject, along with the Speaker of the House.
Thank you, Governor. Yeah, Cole. So we do look at this as a tool, obviously, to keep our premier prep athletes in Illinois. We want them to stay here. We want them, and we want folks from other states actually to also come here and to make Illinois their home after they're done with their collegiate experience. Obviously, we've seen a lot of work, a lot of movement and action in the last few weeks, both with other states doing pursuing similar legislation, but also with the Supreme Court case that came down in D.C. last week, which was an affirmation of a case that was decided by a lower court. Obviously, the college athletics landscape is changing, right? And I think that what we have proven here through this coalition is that we will always be willing and ready to be creative and to be a step ahead to lead the charge. So, I think we don't know what everything will look like in the coming months and years, but I think what this signals is that we're poised and ready to be at the vanguard and be at the front of the charge.
Representative Buckner, were you getting any pushback from the NCAA on this?
The NCAA has been pretty quiet on this. I think, as we talked about, a lack of a national solution to this, which is why many states have decided to jump and do what they can from an individual standpoint, state by state. I think that the NCAA can do a better job of integrating some solutions into this, but they really have kind of stepped back and told each state to do what they need to do, and then they also have said that they're waiting for Congress to act in order for a national solution to exist.
Just to make sure we fully answer your question, I wonder if the AD here at U of I, Josh, if you wouldn't mind just giving an answer about recruitment.
I absolutely think this is a recruiting tool for us. It puts us, again, at the forefront of the national landscape on this landmark issue, this incredible change. And I do think that the evolution of the collegiate model will continue. I think that there's a commitment, and you've seen it from the people who are here behind me, to make sure that the state of Illinois, the state of Illinois' universities, and certainly here at the University of Illinois, remain at the forefront those changes. And we are continuing to watch the landscape, understand the way that it's changing literally under our feet almost by the day, and we will continue to innovate as we can in this space to be sure that we stay one step ahead where we should be and where I think our student athletes want us to be. So thank you.
Any other questions from members of the media?
Governor, a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Sangamon County judge denied your motion to dismiss the challenge of your high school sports COVID orders. Why do you believe the orders would survive a motion for summary judgment?
Well, let me just be clear that these issues have been adjudicated across the state in different courts. People who don't want us to follow COVID mitigations and haven't for the entire time of COVID-19. People who just don't believe that COVID-19 is a serious illness have been the ones who are challenging this for the most part. Obviously, judges are elected across the state and can have different opinions about these sorts of things. We've won every time in court, and I expect that we will here too.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.